Well, if we're not in the studio and we're in India, not traveling out of the country, and we're outdoors, what does that mean? That means we have a very, very special device on the show that we want to tell you all about. The Apple Watch Ultra. Apple's most adventurous watch yet and most expensive. Nearly the cost of an iPhone 14, even more if you consider the prices in India. Is it a true bang for your buck? Well, let's find out on Tech Today. Basically, anything you do on an Apple Watch, if you're working out, you're doing weight training, which we've done often, you're going out for a jog, it's really helpful. And when you play football as well, and that's something I love doing, it's fairly accurate. The fact that it tracks your calorie burn, it tells you if your heart rate's really exceeding the threshold, the healthy threshold, tells you not to overexert yourself. These are things which become a lot better and a lot more efficient when you're using an Apple Watch. You know what, we also tested the watch in the rugged outdoors, but we also played a lot of football with the watch, and honestly it's been so accurate. Sometimes it gives me heart rate notifications, and that's good to know. You take these things for granted with Apple Watches, but even whilst we've been playing football, it's given you heart rate notifications when you've really been overexerting yourself. It's also got very nice intervals where it tells you exactly what you were doing at what point. So of course you can take this hiking, you can take this for your normal workouts. It does everything just like the Apple Watch Series 8. You can check out that review on the Business Today social media handles. But then, if you want to take this underwater, well then we did. The minute you get into the pool, or any water body for that matter, the watch's sensors come on. The depth sensor telling you how many feet or meters you're already in the water and what's the temperature like. That is fascinating that it's finally there on a wearable, not just your wrist temperature. With this also, well, has some way of determining. You got to wear it for 5 days, and then obviously it gives you a mean temperature with which it shows you deviations, but that's there on the Apple Watch Series 8 as well. When you take this underwater into a pool or into the sea, when you're going diving, those two sensors, along with their new Oceanic app, Apple's claim, and this is something we're going to test very soon, is that this can be a dive computer on your wrist. Remember, a dive computer costs anywhere between $400 to $800. If you can incorporate that cost and you go diving in the Apple Watch Ultra, it can actually be a lifesaver. Talking about being a lifesaver, of course, the standard Apple Watch features which we take for granted now but are actually game changers, ECG, heart rate monitoring, all of those things come in with a lot more battery life. Damn, in times of privacy, did I give too much away? What I was trying to show you was the new waypoint feature that I think can be very helpful. If you've parked your car somewhere, you can just mark it as a waypoint and then navigate to that waypoint. Use symbols, use colors to flag it off, and then of course you can always delete it and check out in which direction you've left your car, your belongings. I think that is a very, very useful feature when it comes to these wearables, and the Apple Watch Ultra has that as well. There are nifty watch faces as well, like this Wayfinder watch face. If you're lost somewhere and you just turn the watch around, the entire dial moves around, which makes it really cool. In terms of design, look, when we were in Europe as well, wherever we went on that Tech Today shoot, this became an instant conversation starter, along with the fact that, well, we do a show called Tech Today, which a lot of y'all seem to love and watch. And if you do love and watch the show, then do write into us in the comment section below or on our social media handles. So all the reviews you must have watched on the Ultra will have you believe that it's very expensive. And yes, it is. At 90,000 rupees, it's the cost of an iPhone 14. But it's meant for a certain audience. The audience which used to flock towards the Garmins of the world when they were adventure junkies, travel enthusiasts, like playing sports. If you want to go diving, this is a dive computer on your wrist. But these are just great things in theory, and to just say to you on camera, what if we put it through its paces? There is a bunch of features which are unique to the Ultra, which aren't even there in previous Apple Watches or in its sibling, the Apple Watch Series 8. For instance, let's start off with the battery life. The biggest complaint, the biggest grouse that all of us have with the Apple Watch is battery life. If you're talking about the Apple Watch Ultra, well, it's not like other Apple Watches where you have to charge it once in every 14 hours, 16 hours. This one needs to be charged once in 36 hours. So that is a huge bump up from the previous Apple Watch. If you put it on low power mode, you can even get double that sort of juice on the Apple Watch Ultra. So battery life is not as good now as the Garmin's and many Fitbits, but still a lot better in the Apple world. So what do you need all that battery for? Well, it's clear. We need it because we want to go swimming with it, we want to go diving with it, and that's exactly what we did. We took this into the pool. Of course, the Oceanic app is still to come, but the straps we've been using, which are the Alpine Orange strap, and of course, this particular one as well, the Oceanic strap, very, very comfortable to use, but sometimes it takes some getting used to. With this one especially, they have a nice little hook over here, which is actually a safety mechanism if you're going diving. But the way they've built this, and that's what Apple says, this is meant for diving. If you don't want this to get stuck to your suit, you don't want, well, water to seep through, this is that sort of a rubbery straw design. But honestly, this is a sort of watch which does grow on you. It's 49mm, much bigger than the Apple Watch Series 8. It's way more comfortable than wearing any other brand's watches, because the Samsung Galaxy Watch 5 Pro, which was meant to be for the rugged outdoors, is circular. It looks nice, but the thing with it is that the strap has this weird clamp sort of mechanism. It feels like you're wearing a bracelet on your hand, and that's not ideal. And it has a few design changes. If you notice right over here, you see that the crown is housed in this sort of a protruded, protected cutout, and I think that makes it interesting. Then you have buttons here, and then of course, for Apple Watch enthusiasts, there's a new button, this orange button, which if I'm going to press right now, and I'm guessing if you press it long enough, you can customize that action button to get whatever you want. But if we hit the siren right now, you can see wherever you are, this watch will get quite loud. A few hundred meters won't be an issue for this watch to call out for an SOS sign. Of course, it comes with the other SOS features which come with the new iPhones and the Apple Watch as well, but this was particularly useful if you're going hiking. Now, we've been out in the outdoors, we've been jogging all over the place. Of course, we've been in the city, but it's been kind of helpful to have a watch like this which you can rely on for battery life. So final verdict on the Apple Watch Ultra: yes, it's expensive, yes, it's clunky, but it is an absolute conversation starter, fantastic technology, and if you can shell out the big bucks, then this, according to us, is the best wearable at this price point. That's also a little unfair to say because it is really, really expensive, but we think it is meant for who it is, which is for an adventure junkie. This is the best option yet.